Hey guys, Chaps here, and it's time for another dev stream recap. This week was Octus's last stream, which was a pretty big deal. So without further ado, let's hop to it.
Yeah, so this is my last stream, I guess, and then I'm out on... Tuesday's my last day.
Liam had a bunch of farewell type things throughout this stream. I won't show them all in here just for the sake of time. If you want to check it all out though, I have the full stream linked below. I'll also have a decent chunk of his farewell speech after the closing credits of this video. I've got too much to say and I don't want to fill the whole video with this type of stuff, so I'm just going to leave it at this. Liam, you had a huge impact on the community and you will be missed. Some people understand, but I feel a larger part of this community doesn't fully grasp the significance of his departure. I put out a video the other day, so go check that out for more of my thoughts.
And I'm excited that I'm leaving at a time where, like, if I'm going to leave, it's at least a point where I think a lot of your feedback has been put into action, and I think you're going to see some really amazing results at the end of it.
They've been saying for a while that they think the game is in a good spot. That's good to hear, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this show through.
People have expressed interest in applying for your job, which is great. And they've also and the stuff that I've been seeing online, that people have been tweeting at me, that I've been seeing on Reddit, is the importance of having a fan in the role.
I found it funny how many people have been applying for this when they clearly don't qualify. Yeah, I feel it's good to have a fan in the role, and that's what made Liam so effective, but it's really not the most important thing.
So from a community perspective, like talking from a community role, there is definitely a benefit to being a fan, and at least being in touch with it. But from a professional standpoint, community management is something that you do as a professional, where you kind of immerse yourself in a community, you learn about it, you learn about the culture of the game, and you spend all this time and effort on kind of making sure you become an expert, even if you haven't originally been one. I started my career, obviously, doing fan stuff for Gears, but my actual first job, for those of you who don't know, I worked for about 2.5 years on Call of Duty. And at the time, I was a huge fan of Call of Duty single player, but I didn't really play the multiplayer. It wasn't really for me. I was playing Gears all the time. And so, like, when you bear that in mind, what I did when I came in was I became an expert. I started playing with the community. I learned the mechanics, the lingo, the background, the things they liked, the things they didn't. And community management as a job is about being an expert on fans and understanding them and help the dev team understand what the fans want. You are not there to kind of tell the dev team what to do. You are not there to be the only voice of the fans. The devs are out there reading as well. What you're there to do is to immerse yourself in the culture of the community, and understand all the aspects of it and the different audiences and where they talk. For example, the forum audience we have is a very different kind of player to the players that we see on, say, our Facebook comments. Mm-hmm. And making sure that you're representing all our different kinds of players and all the places that they talk. And that's the skill set that's most important, is knowing how to do that, and especially in a development environment. Like, going from a publisher side, which is my Call of Duty role, to a developer side was a big culture shock. And learning how to be effective, efficient, and very good at doing what you do, and knowing how to communicate and talk to all those different kinds of players in all those different kinds of ways takes time and experience. So, being a fan is definitely an asset, but above all, community is a skill set that really takes time.
I made a Reddit post along these lines yesterday. Sure, being a fan is nice, but being a good CM is key. I just hope that we get someone who's an avid enough gamer that they'll be able to learn the game, and learn it deep enough that they can hold their own in discussion.
I mean, for me, it's like, I want to go and I want to make sure that we're getting somebody that understands how to be a good community manager. And, in an ideal world, I would be able to go and hire somebody that has good community management experience, as well as a big fan of Gears and understands the community and functions in that role. Some of the people that I know that I've had reach out to me have been like, I'm new, or I'm young and I'm doing this, and my dream job is to work for Gears of War. And that's like, well, that's great. Then, don't wait for Gears of War as a job. Get some experience first. So if and that's not just for community management, that's for anything. Like, if you're, a VFX person and you want to go and work for Gears of War, don't wait to get your first job as a VFX person for Gears of War. Go and get some experience so that when that VFX role comes up, you're ready to move into that position and take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard some people online complaining about the experience requirements for this role. You're a senior person. This is a senior
Yeah,
role.
I think I've got 8.5 years.
And
8.5 years community.
And if this was a more entry-level position, then it's a lot easier for someone to be able to come in with that more of a fan perspective rather than coming in with an understanding. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that people don't see about, like managing Jira tickets and how do you go and work with developers and how are you understanding the development process and timelines.
That's something else people really need to realize. We're losing a senior CM. We can't have beginners come fill this role. We need someone experienced. One thing I can't help but think about, though, is the approach of hiring multiple people. The community still felt the team was too small when Liam was there. We felt someone else was needed. I really wish that they could hire 2 people. Hire one person with some CM experience, maybe not a true senior level person though, and then hire a fan with a passion for community as a more junior level CM role. That combination would go a long way, I think. But yeah, obviously headcount and budget's a big deal.
Whoever comes in next, I think, is going to probably have a bit more of like a focused role. And I'm excited to see who comes in because I think they can do some amazing stuff with a bit more kind of, I guess, like a bit more kind of concentration of their efforts versus the way my role just panned out. Just from a matter of, whenever you're at a company for almost 5 years, you pick up a lot of responsibilities that are probably outside the remit of what whoever comes in next will have. So I'm excited to see what they do.
It'll be nice having someone in a more focused role. Hopefully that means more discussion between fans and developers. At the same time, I kind of wonder what other holes this will be leaving at the studio.
Whoever gets hired, I think the scrutiny will be high on whoever gets hired for, working with the Gears community, I think is like...
Gears fans can be really critical, and yeah, I'm one of them. I really do feel, though, that whoever they choose needs to be greeted with a warm welcome. Chances are they're not going to be some big gearhead that we all know and love instantly. Give them time, though. Hopefully they're willing to learn the series and really connect with the fans.
I made that account and the Octus kind of account intentionally as a kind of company thing. So we're going to give that. They won't be called Octus, but we're going to give the Twitter account to whoever the next CM is. I think that's still your plan, right, Dana?
Yeah, right now that's the intention.
So that's probably good. So if you follow that, you're already going to be in touch with the next CM. I won't be using it beyond Tuesday.
That's a pretty cool idea.
I saw some people being like, is he leaving because he doesn't believe in the future of Gears and all this sort of stuff? And I just want to make it clear, as an on-the-record thing, that's not at all what it is. As Dana said, I've been thinking for a while about moving back to the UK. I actually accepted this job, what was it, late January, early February, something like that, Dana? Yeah. So I'm moving back for a new opportunity, but it's nothing to do with the future of the game. No. I'm really excited about what's coming.
No, and there was other people that were like, Liam was fired, which I was like...
I was like, I saw some comments like that, and I was like, if I was fired, this would have been the nicest send-off for a fired employee of all time.
Whoever thinks these things is clearly delusional. I was laughing when I read this stuff.
And this is sort of the beginning of an evolution that we're going to see where eventually you'll be able to play multiple characters as the way you want in PvE and vice versa. Now, the downside of that is right now, unfortunately, the Carmines aren't playable in PvE, but they will get there eventually.
Again, more teases of this. I put out a video this week on the topic, but we still don't have too much news. Hopefully they have more to share soon.
So arm rip, so the one you saw in the Carmine trailer is coming, and right now the plan is at some point you will be able to get this operation.
There we go. The arm rip was confirmed last week, and now we know it's going to be sometime this operation.
I saw some people talking about matchmaking. Matchmaking is a something that we are looking at. We're looking at ways to improve it. We're hoping that the new ranking system is going to benefit the matchmaking system as well. So just stay tuned for that.
I still don't understand how fixing ranked is going to help people who can't even find quick match games, and I really hope they're not solely focused on fixing ranked. I know a lot of people are complaining about even quick match.
The Terminator changes have been approved. I don't have an exact release date on when those are going to get put out. Hopefully a lot more visible when you're playing on a dark map.
And this is great. Sounds like maybe it's increasing the intensity or maybe even the number of lights on them. That would certainly help on dark maps. I really wish they'd fill out more of the torso though, especially the Rev 9. I'm curious to see what they do on this.
The future of dev streams. It's going to be a little tricky for us for the next little while. We're not in the studio. We just discussed I'm not as proficient at the game as Liam is. So it would be hard for me to answer questions and play with the community.
So why not just do this? Andius runs the stream, Dana answers questions and goes into a spectator slot. Then fill a lobby with 10 fans that can play. Or even fill the lobby with 9 fans plus 1 remote developer. The person who plays doesn't need to be the person in the streaming room.
So we're going to look at it whether we do maybe shorter sessions where there's just a bunch more of a Q&A bit. Try to have more developers on to answer some questions. I also think I'm going to start keep the Thursday time slot, but maybe we'll do some hosted ones. So whether it's me playing with people in our community, so I could hop on with Landon and him and I could play and he could ask me some questions and I could answer and we're playing at the same time. So I'm going to look at a few ways to sort of not, continue to be a conduit to give you guys information in the near term, but maybe help celebrate some of the people in our community to bring them up to raise their profile.
Wow, that's a great idea. So great that I actually discussed this with Pez Radar in the past and then even continued that email chain with Dana once he joined. Yeah, over 2 years ago. It really sucks that it's taken them this long to actually think about acting on it. But then again, this is all just talk at this point. I'll believe it when I see it.
There's not a lot of recognition, and and with me a little bit, there's not a lot of recognition of other people inside of the studio just because of they're not as visible. So we want to make sure that we're getting people out there because there is a really talented team that has been around for a very long time and plays a critical role in where the game is and where the game is going. And I think Jamie, our weapon tuning designer, is a good example of that. He's worked on the game for a long time and has, when he was on a couple of weeks ago, gave a very clear path on what his vision is for the game and where he sees, addressing some of those foundational issues. And then we can start looking at things like, what does the active reload mean for Lancers? What is he talked about why 6 rounds versus 8 rounds in the Nasher, and if we want to change that or what have you. Garrett or Michael on? Yeah, obviously, Embry, I saw that. Michael, we wanted to get him on to talk a little bit about what we've got going on with PvE. So we wanted to have him on when there was a little bit more to talk about. So that PvE stream is just pushed for a little bit, but it's definitely coming. But we want to save that so when he comes on, it's not just of where we are, but it's a little bit of where we're going.
I really hope that we can get these people active on Reddit too. I've seen a few posts on the forums, but it would be really cool to get them posting on Reddit as well.
Really, DJ, when will new maps finally come? Where we are all waiting. I think he's saying we're all waiting. The map one is, we've talked about this before. Initially, we were going through and we had a map cadence, and that was to be augmented by tiles. The tile production ended up taking a lot more time, and some of the map production suffered as a result of this. We've now pivoted away from doing a lot of tile work, and we're focusing on those maps. However, the ability to create maps takes a long time, from designing the level to arting the level to testing the levels. There's a lot of where you're going to go. Like if Liam walks through like mid lane right here, it's not like just getting the width of that lane down. Oh, sorry, that wasn't Liam. Now Liam's walking through kind of over here. If you look at where the cover setup is and all of that, that changes and progresses a lot through the iterative. I know that when we had Garrett on showing off Foundation and showing off Harbor, there was 400 and some odd iterations of a map. So for us, that's why it takes time. And so as much as we know right now that we want more maps to be added to the game, and we are actively working on getting that map production as accelerating as much as possible. There are maps in various stages, so you're going to see, maps coming out in Op 4, and then more maps coming out in Op 5. That's kind of where we are. This is something that it takes time for us to. This isn't just a matter of we're not holding maps back. If we had maps, we would put them into the game. So that's kind of even the Legacy Gears 4 maps. It's not just as simple as a port. It requires time to get those over. And when we're working on that, that's still other time that's not being allocated and such.
I mean, maps come with operations. I wouldn't expect to see anything until Operation 4 at the earliest. It seems like they made a big shift to focusing on maps slightly before Operation 3 launched. Because of this, I suspect that in Op 4 we're still probably not going to see the full fruits of their labor. Maybe we'll see 2 new maps and 1 or 2 ported maps. I think Op 5 is where we're really going to start to see the changes. And yeah, that's a long ways out. Kinda sucks.
No more FOMO. Let's get a full storefront. Just do that. More money for you. Yeah, that always makes me laugh. When people accuse us of being greedy, but then kind of like if we were greedy, we would have more content out. And I think that's something that we've heard you guys is giving away for content to be available on a more sustained basis. So we've heard that, and that feedback has been passed along, and hopefully we have stuff to talk about going forward.
Dana, you completely dodged the question and answered something unrelated. We're asking for a full storefront. Keep all of the released items in the store at all times. Get rid of the FOMO. It's unnecessary. Seriously though, I hope he was intentionally dodging this, because I'd rather have him dodging questions than having him not be aware of what the community's asking for.
It's hard for me because you guys can't see it, and the balance of transparency with stuff we're working on, and this is something that we I personally struggle with, of how do we kind of thread that needle of giving you guys the information of what's going to happen without over-promising or without saying stuff, because things change all the time.
Yeah, we get it, things can change, but I really hope that TC can start to open up a bit and share more details about the direction they're going. I'll link my latest transparency document again for anyone who's missed it. We don't need to know everything they're working on, but the more you can tell us about what the Coalition's thoughts on certain features are, the more effective fan feedback can be.
Sorry, I just saw someone ask if I was going to keep playing Gears 5 after I leave. Oh, yeah. I'm a huge Gears fan, and my biggest kind of, oh, crap moment was, I've been playing on Octus, which is like my Gears-specific gamer tag. I obviously have a personal one. And I've been playing on Octus because, I like to have I wanted to have an account that anyone could reach out to me on and kind of play with, like, see me in game and know it's me, and have it be a Gears-specific account. I even went and replayed a bunch of the Gears games to get achievements on it. And now I just realized, like, I have, like, nothing on 5 because I've been playing 5 on my Octus. So, yeah, I'm going back right now. Like, I'm grinding through Tour and all that sort of stuff on my personal one now. So I'm ready to be one of you guys again when this all blows over.
I laughed pretty hard when I heard this question. He's played Gears since the beginning. He's not going anywhere.
The Blackstone ones are a weird case because they were esports supporter skins, so that's a tricky one. If we bring them back, we're going to get grief about selling legacy content.
Dana, you guys already sell legacy content, and fans are already mad about that? What makes Blacksteel any different?
There isn't any plans to add specific PvE skills to the Carmines, but that may change.
That's interesting. I kind of assumed that the Carmines would be getting new classes, just not right away. This makes it sound like they have no plans to bring classes for them ever. I really hope TC isn't using this PvE change that they're going through as an excuse to stop bringing in new classes at a decent rate.
When will new achievements be released? I don't know. So
I believe we're thinking about with the next operation, but we haven't confirmed.
I don't know about you guys, but I seriously stopped caring about achievements. Like, I used to be a completionist, but I really stopped caring with Gears 5.
Would it be possible to add the classic Canter Scream as an expression? I think that's a really cool idea. I think we should probably pass that to the team.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So people are asking about High Buster Kate. High Buster Kate isn't, Kate is going to come to Escape more than likely at some point. The reason her skin exists, there's a little bit of a debate from us, is, originally the intention was to bring all the characters into Escape a lot earlier than we have. Escape is such a delicate balance that until we feel like those characters are in a good enough place to not completely destroy the meta, which we don't feel is quite just yet, is their plan to be brought across.
I'm curious about this. I wonder what they're doing to Kate to make her more balanced for Escape. Is this just reworking the timing of her ultimate? Are her cards going to be worse in Escape? I didn't know there was really much they could do, without nerfing her in Horde as well.
So what happened with the High Buster Kate skin is it was already kind of planned in development and kind of made, fairly recently, and ended up in a recent patch. And the team kind of talked, and the mentality they decided was, hey, instead of not releasing the skin because she's not an escape, like we don't really apply that rule to any skins of any other kind. So why withhold content, just like this thing we've done with the Carmines, like why withhold content purely because she's not ready from a gameplay perspective, from the team's perspective, to go into escape?
This makes complete sense to me. Don't hold back skins that are ready to go.
The PvE, that is something that I know that Michael Shannon, who is our PvE lead, takes that into consideration and talks about that in conjunction with Jamie, who is the multiplayer, the weapon designer, the weapon movement designer. So there is conversations around that. Is there something specific you guys were looking for around what you would like to be tuned in PvE? Happy to pass that along.
I find it disheartening that he's asking if there's anything specific that fans want passed along. I haven't played PvE since Operation 1, but I've seen plenty of posts about what people want. Read Reddit, read the forums, read Twitter. There's a lot of ask.
As we talked about, like, community's job isn't to... We don't get to make a lot of the decisions, really any game-based decisions.
Yeah.
That's what the developers are for. We're there to provide information to developers and represent you. And, sometimes when we don't feel like things are maybe going to be what you want, we fight a little harder and make our point a little bit stronger. But we can't go like, yes, we'll do that or whatever. It's just not our role within the team.
It's funny how many people don't realize this. So many people were applying to that role and seem to be under the impression that they know what's best for the game and they're going to go in and fix things.
So no new maps for at least a couple of months. Well, typically we add new maps at the beginning of an operation, so I'll let that be kind of... We don't have any major content planned to be added to the game in Operation 3. How about that?
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting any more in Op 3, but yeah, I guess it's nice to have that confirmed now.
When will we see Anthony with the new helmet? That's one where we have to go and make the helmet, make sure it works, get it designed, get it get it remapped onto the character, the pawn, which is sort of the base character, and then we need a TU to put it into there.
Seems odd that it would take long to update the helmet, being it's just an aesthetic thing. But if I've learned anything over the past years, it's that even a simple task like that takes a while. I suspect we won't see this change until Operation 4.
Is the game's calendar still accurate inside of the game? It is at this point. It may move out a week or two.
I'm starting to think they're going to lean towards that 2-week thing now. Last week they said it was accurate, and now they're saying it might be accurate or it might be an extra week or two. If they're even considering moving it at this point, I fully suspect that it's going to get pushed.
Anything on the extra stars earned after completing the tour? That's that feedback has been an active topic of conversation of what do the stars get used for? So it'd be one thing if you can keep completing the stars, but if you've already maxed out the tour and what do we do the stars? Is it something that how do we convert them? I know everyone's like, we'll make them convert into earnable currency inside of the store or whatever it is. And I think there's lots of things that one could talk about, but that's part of the conversation is if we wanted to do something, what do we use it for?
Last week, Liam seemed to indicate that this was a high priority, so I kind of expected to see the change as soon as Operation 4. Dana made it sound like more of a, we want to do something, but we don't know what that is yet and we're discussing internally. So now I'm not really sure. I see 3 main approaches. One is give scrap, which PvE people would love and PvP people wouldn't really care about. The second option is giving XP, which both sides wouldn't mind, but overall XP doesn't really mean much in this game. And number 3 is give iron, maybe 1 iron per star and no extras for boost. I think this would satisfy everyone, well, except for maybe TC's sales team.
Theater mode, so much theater mode. Liam, what's going on with theater mode?
So from a technical standpoint, it would be feasible to go do. However, making a theater mode, especially a user front-facing theater mode, is a huge amount of work. Like the idea has been bandied around before since it kind of became possible to have things like kill cam and stuff. But it's a huge amount of work. Not to say it won't ever happen, but it's a big feature.
So, it's not just as simple as it being in Unreal Engine. It's something that you have to then go and adapt to our stuff.
Yeah.
The engine is sort of the foundation which you build the game on, but then a lot of work has to happen to get it into the game and work.
I think theater mode would be great, but I mean, we can't even get a properly functioning kill cam, so I'm terrified of what theater mode would actually be like. This is something that I think would be nice for Gear 6, Not necessary, but nice for Gears 6, but I have absolutely zero expectation of seeing it for Gears 5.
Punish quitters, yes. The community service feature that we've talked about a while ago is still in scope. Timing for it to roll out is still TBD, but it is something that we're working on.
They've talked of this for a while. I wonder how long it will be until we see something.
What about allowing us to play as the Swarm in co-op versus AI? That has been talked about. I haven't followed up on that in a while.
This has been requested basically since the launch of Gears 4. I have no idea why it wasn't in the game at launch for Gears 5, and honestly, I'm kinda not expecting it to change at this point. It doesn't really seem like TC cares enough about this one.
With the weakened hammer burst compared to Gears 4, is there thought to have it return as an option in the starting loadout? I don't think so. But no, the hammer burst, there hasn't been conversation of adding it back there. I know that at Gears 4 there was such frustration.
I'm torn here. I much prefer the hammer burst, and I enjoy the variety that a loadout option gave. But on the other hand, balancing it would certainly be pretty difficult.
Obviously, Dana's about to go into a situation where Dana and Andius, and then obviously our LATAM CM, Jonathan, also known as Tyrus, they're going to be a person down. Just obviously bear that in mind until a new CM's on board. That I can say from my experience when the team was smaller how hard it was, and I'm sure these guys are going to work their butts off for you. But just remember they're a person down when you're kind of looking at the output, and if anything, temporarily slows down or changes a little bit in terms of community stuff.
Yeah, rough seas ahead, man. These will be interesting times.
And just our visibility on the forums and on Reddit. I'm going to try to be there commenting and answering.
I think the forum community would argue there's no change there, and I apologize to them for that. I haven't had the scope to give you guys on the forums enough. If there's any forum fans watching, I apologize we haven't been more present there.
But yeah, so I'm going to be working with the forum, with the moderators on Reddit and the moderators on the forums. I'm going to try my best to get there as much as I can. It's going to be tricky. So I'm going to rely on hopefully the moderators to sort of give me heads up if there's things that need to be jumped into and managed. It's not that we don't want to be there, and I'm going to put a post on each one of those just to sort of say we're doing our best, but it's going to be tricky for the next little while.
It's nice to see them acknowledge the lack of presence on the forums. I know a lot of the forumers were pretty disappointed in the communications over there. I really hope they follow through on this one, though. More presence is certainly needed on all platforms.
Well, Liam, I do want to say that even though it's not your last day, but this is publicly going to be your last stream. But thank you on behalf of on the community of everyone that's here, of our team. You were a really critical part of our success and the ongoing success of Gears, and you will be missed. And thank you so much.
Yeah, seriously, Liam, thank you for all of your hard work. I've got Liam's farewell posted in the closing credits here, so go give that a listen. If you enjoyed these breakdowns, drop a like and subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will catch you next time.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who sent me kind messages. They're things I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. It's nice to go away 5 years, seeing people saying nice things and not celebrating all the celebrating means. I know some people will always be happy. You're never going to make everyone happy, and not everyone's going to like you. So that's fine. If you are celebrating, good for you. I do not hate you or anything. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but just thank you. I just want to say a big thank you to the Gears community. Like I said, a lot of people on Reddit and everything were like, I don't know how he put up with it. It's not putting up with it when you work with the Gears community. It's it's probably going to be it's almost certainly going to be the most memorable job of my life in the sense of it was my dream come true, to work on Gears. And, the transferring the franchise to a new studio was never going to be easy. Any processes that were in place, any things that were there, I was kind of there on the ground floor when it kind of happened, just shortly after UE, when it was kind of like, okay, here's the new chapter of Gears go time for the studio. And, we're still learning, and I know the studio is going to continue to be learning. They're becoming more and more experts at what they're doing every day, not just as designers generally, but as kind of Gears curators, I guess. And when we make mistakes, the one thing I can say about the studio is we learn from them. And, I've been very proud to represent you guys, and hopefully in the coming months you're going to see a lot of what both my Dana and myself and Andius and Tyrus have been doing to represent you guys and work with the team on your feedback. But yeah, just thanks for having me and for not crucifying me, to be honest, and just letting me have the opportunity to be in front of you for so long and not shut up when I probably should, like how long this is. But yeah, just thank you. I'll miss all of you, but I'm gonna be out there, to be honest, like being a fan. You might not see me, posting as Octus, but just know I'm out there. I'm being a fan. I'm passing my feedback to the developers that I personally have now. I get to represent my own feedback entirely.